Why thinking like a mad scientist can help you knock down more shots. Why thinking like a mad scientist can help you knock down more shots. And so, Rudy, I'll pass it over to you to talk a little bit about this secret and the importance of measuring.
This one changed everything for me. It really did. So I just full transparency. One of the reasons why I love teaching shooting is because when I was younger, I was so bad at it. And I really had to learn how to become a great shooter because you can't see it here in the video, but I'm only about 5'7", 5'8" on a good day. Depends on what pair of Nikes I'm rocking on that given day. But I couldn't shoot it very well. I was one of the best creators on my team all the way growing up. And my sophomore year in high school, I hit a brick wall and I shot 19% from the three-point line. For those of you that study statistics, it was really not good. I was actually the worst statistical three-point shooter in my entire high school conference. And so I was frustrated at that because I was getting up a lot of shots, but I just really wasn't confident. And I had a huge confidence barrier where I felt like I couldn't shoot. I didn't think I could shoot. I didn't want to catch and shoot. And a lot of that reason just came down to the fact that I hadn't proven to myself that I could. And after coming to PGC, one of the things that I learned was that this idea that measuring things can help, and nothing can really help your confidence like seeing the numbers improve and actually proving to yourself with statistical data that you're better. So I started to just track and measure my shots. And just a quick secret, I'll just throw it here into the chat. But this is essentially what I did to start to study and measure mine like a mad scientist. And so I would shoot in small sets. I usually shot in sets of 10. I had goals and consequences for each set. And then the consequence would increase with each additional miss away from my goal. So for example, catch and shoots. I was going to go shoot 100 catch and shoots every day right after practice. So whenever practice got done, I shoot 100 catch and shoots before I leave. I'd shoot 10 from the 5 different spots on the floor. I'd go all the way around and then all the way back. If I had a coach that would stay after, I'd have him rebound for me. If not, then I'd shoot it by myself. But essentially, I'd shoot in small sets, and my goal was 7 out of 10. So I go shoot 10. All right, I got 6. All right, for every one that I was off, I was in season, so I wasn't going to do anything crazy, but I was going to do 5 push-ups for every miss. It was more of like an irritation than it was a punishment. Just like if I didn't get there, it was just something that locked my mind in. And so I did, 5 push-ups for if I had 6. But if I got 5, that's 2 away from my goal. So I hit 10 push-ups. If I'd hit 4, I do 15 push-ups. I'm 3 away from my goal. And so what it did was it added pressure, but it also allowed me to measure. So at the end of that workout, I took 100 threes, and let's say I hit 73. Oh, okay. I shot 73% today. And so the round number of 100 was easy for me because I wanted to know my exact percentage, and I didn't feel like doing math. So that was how I started it. And, over time, when I first started, I was about 35% catch and shoot unguarded in an empty gym. And so as I went on and I saw it go to 37, 39, 41, 47, 51, you transition that to 4 years later, my sophomore year in high school to sophomore year in college. My sophomore year in college in preseason, I tracked everything in that 6-week span. I shot 88% from the three-point line, catch and shoot unguarded. And that season, I shot 53% from the three-point line over the course of my sophomore year in college. So I went 19% in high school sophomore year to 53% sophomore year in college in that 4-year span. And the reason why I think I was able to make that leap was because I started to track and measure every shot I took in my workouts. It was just the easiest way for me to actually see the data go. And then when I got in games, I could be more confident. And I didn't have that feeling where I shoot my first one, and if I made it, I'd shoot again. And if I missed it, I wouldn't. I just knew that no matter what, I knew statistically I was a good shooter. And I believed that. And that confidence came from that preparation, but also that measurement. And so attacking it like a scientist is a great way to start to build that confidence as a shooter.
And Dustin, can I tee you up on one thing? You probably had a different thought that you're going to go, but the first thing is a few years ago, we were teaching a PGC camp together, and we were co-teaching it, and you had a ton of papers, like a few hundred pieces of paper, and you were looking at your notes before you went on to present. And I looked at it, I was like, wow, that's a lot of notes. And then you looked at me and you said, I actually don't even really need these. It's just for my confidence. Like the visual cue was for your confidence. And so it's a little bit of a different,
Yeah.
Makes it my guy. Okay, perfect. Right. Maybe get a binder, make it a little more organized. Maybe
Yeah.
something like that. But can you just talk about that for a moment to build off what Rudy said about the confidence piece? Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's so beautifully put. You teed that up really well. But I've been lucky enough to speak for a long time, and I love speaking. And I found that as human beings, just like in shooting, your confidence is always eavesdropping on your self-talk. And as people, we tend to become what we think of ourselves. And usually, if the narrative, just like the game bends in the direction of our strongest habit, our mind bends in the direction of our strongest thought, the one we feed the most. And if you consistently decide who you want to be and win it with little votes every day, you get really good at it. There's an author that we all love named James Clear, and he says, start with who you want to be, shift to how that person would act, and shrink to control what you can control. And that's how you become a great shooter as well.
You say
Sorry. My bad. Start with who you want to be, shift to how that person would act, and shrink to control what you can control. And just unpacking that, like as a basketball player, it's all about starting. Like the end of the game, you look at the end of the journey. What do you want to be remembered as a shooter? Let that be the thing that guides you. Let that be your North Star, because that'll align your thoughts, your words, and your actions. And now, instead of going out with your friends and not getting in the gym, you'll get in the gym because you've casted a version of who you want to be. That's start with who you want to be. Shift. Like, think about the best shooter you've ever met. Shift to how that person acts and moves, and you'll start acting and being like that person. And then you become the uncommon amongst the uncommon. And then finally, shrink to control what you can control. The hard part is, as basketball players, that which angers you owns you. And what I've seen of like Kyle, he's one of my best friends. He's the greatest shooter I've seen in a long time. I've met better shooters, but he's unbelievable.
Name one.
Yeah, stop. But what Kyle does so well is Kyle has this ability to select his amnesia. When he's making shots, he's very loud. When he's missing shots, he moves on to the next play really quickly. Whereas me, if I miss a couple shots, I'm living in that headspace over and over and over again. And so basically, when you praise those things, like that which gets praised gets repeated. It's all about shooting as well. So that's from the confidence side. Yeah. Thanks for teeing me up.
No, that was good, Dustin. And I'll share one final thought, and then I'm going to come back to you, Rudy, and you, Dustin. And there's 730 people on live from 39 states and 4 countries. I want you to give them one action to take out of this. Again, thinking into the next 1 week. You just heard the second secret, which is measure. Right, that's the secret. And before I bring it back over to you, my final point is, what's the danger of not doing it? Is a question I think about often. And so if you don't measure, one of the dangers is you start to rely on hope as a shooter. And so you go into the gym, and especially at a younger age, if you're just starting out, and you just kind of feel it out. And if you don't even have great fundamentals yet, all the way up to the highest levels, if you're only relying on feel and hope that your shot's improving, then you're probably not going to improve very fast, because you don't have anything, like Rudy and Dustin said, to tie back to. And so, like Dustin's massive stack of papers or notebooks, or however you would keep it in an Excel sheet, or like at our shooting colleges, we actually have a tracking sheet that we use for the players. If you don't have that, you're relying on hope, and that's not the quickest way to improvement as a shooter. And so I'll transition back to Dustin. Do you want to start us off here? If you were to give one action to take in the next 1 week around this secret, what would you say?
Yeah, and this is one of our mottos. We have a couple mottos with like the guys we do the NBA pre-draft with. And one of the mottos is professionals stick to a schedule, amateurs let life get in the way. And again, at this age, I don't care what age the person is listening, it's not about being the most talented. It's about being the most consistent. So what I would do is I'd pick a shooting drill that you enjoy. And again, if you ever need them, my email is dustin@pgcbasketball.com. I send some shooting workouts to athletes all the time, but the best ones you can do are normally within a similar time frame. So 2 minutes, one passer, one rebounder, one shooter. And even if it's 2 minutes on the clock and you're going from 5 spots, and after you finish those 5 spots, start over again, see how many you can get. We call that Orion shooting. Normally, a player in high school is trying to get 21 makes in 2 minutes in Orion shooting. Again, it's 5 spots, corner, slot, top, slot, corner. And as soon as you finish, you just restart again. But even it doesn't matter what the shooting drill is. That's not the magic. The magic is the consistency of it. That's the first thing I would do.
Thanks, Dustin. Yeah, Rudy, over to you.
Yeah, I think, I'll just put back in the group chat, but I think start with where you are. I think too many times players, they get this big moment of motivation when they hear somebody speak and they're like, oh, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to shoot 100, I'm going to shoot 200, I'm going to shoot 300, 500 a day. And then they get to day 3 and the arm feels like it's going to fall off, or they sleep through their alarm, they hit snooze too many times, and then they fail. And then because they failed, now it's like, oh, well, like I can't do this. And then they drop off. Start small, start where you're at. You can't improve a habit that you don't already have. And that's the one biggest piece of advice that I have for you. If you don't have the habit of shooting daily right now, then don't start with hundreds of shots. Start with getting to the gym. Do you have a gym that you can go to 6 to 7 days a week? And that might mean you have to piece some things together. Maybe it's the local Y, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the high school Tuesday, Thursday, right? And then somewhere else, the Salvation Army on a Sunday, whatever. But right now, if you don't have that, consistency of shooting every day, you got to, number one, find out where you can shoot every day. Then go shoot 20 shots, 30 shots, 50 shots, whatever. Just create a plan and have a plan to go and dominate that every day. And then as you build it over weeks, then you can, okay, I can add in 20 shots. I can add in 30. And in the next couple of months, you can build it to be 100, 150, 200 shot workout. Yeah. But if you try to go out there and eat the whole elephant in one bite, it's just not going to work. You got to take it one bite at a time. Go out there and just build the habit, create the habit, and then you can enhance the habit.
Hey, can I add one tiny thing, Kyle? Because like as you do this, like Rudy says, as you do this more and more and more, you become more confident in it and you become more professional with it. And professional is like, if you write down a when and a where you're going to shoot, like Rudy says, you're way more likely to do it. And as you do it more and more and you start to fall in love with it, like anything, when we work hard for something we don't care about, that's stress. When we work hard for something we do care about, that's passion. And so finding passion in the process of shooting it's a game changer. It's a really powerful thing you can do as a young athlete.